Hello, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Jean's Life Lessons, talking about her book, Wake Up, Grow Up, Stop It.
Hi
Jean
guys. Hi.
Mitton, welcome. We had lesson two, point number six, and very simple. Even parents are in our perception. Even parents are in our perception. What on earth did you mean by that?
Well, listen, I'm told the world's an illusion. Okay. So, Michael, what you see, I see, and the truth over there, it's all in our perception. What is the truth? Your truth, my truth, or the truth?
Yeah, exactly.
So, everything that we do or see is in our perception. So, four of us had the same parents until I was 50 and had a 50th birthday party. And the story about the 10 shilling note came up and how we went and looked for it. And each of us, my oldest brother was 16 years older than me,
Hmm.
we all told, and he wasn't actually involved except at the supper table at night because he was out working. We all told a different story of how our parents behaved because of that 10 shilling note. And in an instant, I realized we didn't have the same parents.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting because you all had a different
We
experience of
all
how
had
they
it.
reacted.
Yes. So our perception of each parent, all of our perceptions were different. So it was like two different people.
That's so
We didn't have the
fascinating.
same parent.
Yes. It reminds me of the story of the elephant. If you look at it from one way, you see one thing, and if you look at it from the other way, you see a different thing. And then we think our perception is the right way,
Yes.
because we think elephant is got the trunk, and the other one's going, no, the elephant's got the tail.
And that's a good example, that thing. Yes.
Yes.
It's the same as if somebody, I mean, if you've never seen a cup, how do you know what a cup is?
Hmm.
You, it is, everything is in our perception, every
Yes.
single thing.
Yes.
So don't get upset about it.
There you go. That's one of the secrets. Don't get upset
Yes.
about how you perceive things.
Yeah.
Where does your perception come from and how is it altered?
Where does it come from? It's a good question. Where does it come from? They tell me we don't use half of our brain, so I really don't know. And I'm a nurse, I should know, but we don't know what part of our brain doesn't work. I mean,
Yeah.
some people recover from a stroke and some can't.
Yep.
So it comes from within.
Hmm.
Okay. It also comes from our beliefs that we taught when we're young.
Absolutely.
And how do we change it? Well, when you become aware, and this person is busy telling you a story and you're thinking, but that's not what I saw, then you realize to them it is real. That
Yes.
story to them is real. I can't tell them that's a load of nonsense. That's
Mm.
not how it is. But I can guide them into seeing a better way of perceiving what happens.
Yeah.
So when you realize that everything's in the perception, you can become conscious enough to choose another thought out of this mess upstairs there and see how that works for you. You'll be surprised. It works.
Yeah. It's it takes a lot of work to notice your perceptions can be wrong and that you bought into a different kind of story
Yes.
and trying to find what's the real authentic or perception.
And it would be good if we could talk about it because that's where our fight starts. I
Mm.
mean, I told you this and you heard that. So who's right? You or me? So if you can at least talk about that and realize that you've each got a different viewpoint of it, you can get to a middle road. But we don't. Instead, we fight over it.
Mm.
And that's what's very sad about it. I am right. Tick, tick, tick.
Yes. Always. I'm right.
I am right. And we're not right. We
Yeah.
don't know.
Because we're coming from our perception.
Yes.
Yes.
So perception for me is what life is really about. And I guess, when you start practicing choosing a better perception of what's happening, knowing, as I say, people are divine, holy arseholes of God, as am I sometimes. So then I don't get irritated by them.
Yes. I mentioned going to India before, but when I first arrived in India and I arrived in Delhi, I think the first 48 hours was probably the worst time of my life. It was such a shock. It
I
was
can
it
imagine.
was absolutely, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I just come from America.
Okay.
And I come from America where I mean everyone got everything that they wanted. You were in Disney World and they were just like kids in wheelchairs, not because they were disabled, but because they were too fat to walk. And
I've
there
been
were,
told that.
yeah, and there was just like this abundance of whatever you want. And going to India, and it
Yeah.
was poor and smelly and full of mosquitoes and just like horrendous. and you get into a hotel and they promise you clean sheets, but it all looks brown, and aircon, but there's no aircon, it's just the air blower. And it was just horrendous. I was like horrified. Eventually, we left Delhi and we went up to the mountains to the Himalaya, and we spent about
Wonderful.
a few weeks there. And something shifted. India became this most magical, beautiful, unbelievable place. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
And by the time we found ourselves back in Delhi, I walked into Delhi and I was a bit apprehensive because of my experience. But when I got there, it was like, wow, look at this place. There's kids playing cricket in the street. It was alive. It was buzzing. There was no more smell. It wasn't so bad anymore. I found out that the sheets were very clean, but because they all went to a central water, a place to get washed, they all came out looking brown. But they were very clean. And you found out all these things, and it was just a change of perception.
Yes.
Shifted my whole world and my impression of a whole nation.
And that's interesting because everybody that my friends that have gone to India are like you. They were shocked, but came home with the most amazing awareness of life.
Yeah.
Different to our own.
Different, yeah. Different.
And one of the things I don't know if you've experienced that, but they said people don't really starve because of karma. So somebody will give them some food.
Yes.
Even though there's hundreds of beggars.
Yes.
They get fed.
Yeah. People look out for each other. Animals
and
get
the animals get fed by somebody.
Yep, always, yes.
Oh.
But it's also the same in our country in South Africa. I mean, you have this whole perception, and then if you go and have a braai in the township with someone, completely, your whole perception completely shifts. Yep. And you realize, oh, okay, well, they're just like me.
So is perception the devil?
Who knows? Yeah, some people say
it comes from here. So
yes,
could be.
It's part of that illusion, and anything in the illusion can be classified as the devil.
Yes,
yes, yes.
The only way I can understand the illusion is going to perception. That what you perceive and what I perceive are two different things. So it's got to be an illusion. It can't be real.
Yes, exactly. And we base our whole world on the perception. And
I'm right.
And I'm right, yeah. So how do we go about changing it?
Well, it goes back to, for me, you can do none of this changing. If you become aware and you don't practice, you're going to get nowhere. You'll be aware. But you have to practice something till it becomes part of your life. And when you practice something, it becomes part of your life. It's not hard. When you get the itty-bitty shitty committee to keep quiet and you listen to your heart, it becomes easy.
Yeah.
There is no effort in doing that change. But you have to practice that.
Yes. Yes.
So it's no good just reading about it or hearing about it and knowing about it. It has to be practiced and experienced.
What if you at a dinner party and you realize that there was a conversation and you realize that something that you held dear and true was actually wrong? How do you go about changing that perception?
Well, the fact that you even noticed that they were talking about it means you're awake, okay?
Yes.
And I think you can change it. You have to become conscious enough to say, yeah, listen, that was wrong. You know, it's like me. When you walk there, this goes back to racism in South Africa. I still think we are much further than most other countries in talking about racism, okay?
Yeah.
So because of my pale apartheid upbringing in apartheid area, if I'm walking down the street and two dark guys are walking towards me, this will start saying, be careful. And I have to say, what a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
In that instant, I can now say, what a load of nonsense. Yeah. And I'll smile and say hello, and knowing all is well. But you have to be awake enough to know that you can change that.
Yes.
And you have to practice it. For me, my life's been about practice.
And question. Question. Yes. Constantly questioning.
I still want to know how two dinosaurs got on the ark.
Well, they didn't. That's why they're not around.
And how about two ants? My kitchen's got 60,000 at the moment in it. Yeah, how did they get two ants on the ark?
We need to talk about that. So changing our perception, a lifelong situation,
and practicing
and practice. And the nice thing is that you can.
Yes.
And you should.
And you should.
Always be questioning.
And it's wonderful when you do.
Always be questioning your beliefs. Always be questioning. That's what we as coaches do. We help question people's beliefs, and we help them to see things in a different way, in a different manner. And I think that's also what your book does.
So we get stuck in that. We're mad, man. We get stuck in just believing without questioning.
Yes.
I don't know how we do that.
Yes. And sometimes old people are the best. This is the way we've always done
Yeah,
it.
we are.
Oh my
We
word.
are.
This is the way we've always done it. It's my way or the highway. You can't teach a old dog new
No,
tricks.
I went to
Absolute rubbish. All of it.
absolutely. I went to an Absa bank yesterday, and there's not a teller in sight. It was like I'd gone to Mars. I thought, where am I? It's
Yes.
horrible. Your
Yes.
turn will come. But yes, we are the worst.
Yeah. But you can. You can change your perception. You can learn new
It's more effort
things.
now that you're older, but yes, you can.
Yeah. And you
Oh,
should.
and you should.
Yeah. Continue learning and growing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Any final words on perception and your parents?
Poor parents, you arrive on earth and we moan about them. If you go to any of the courses, in any room somewhere, there's some adult child getting up moaning about their childhood and their behavior. Your parents gave life to you. Be grateful for that. Be grateful. They weren't given a handbook to say, this is what you do with this baby.
Hmm.
If I could have my midwifery over again, as I said, I would hand the baby to the mother and say, this baby came through you, not for you.
Oh, that's nice. That's powerful.
Okay. So anything I'd
That's
like to change about my profession, because when we are old and I don't have kids, we expect our kids to do things and our kids don't. And then we become miserable and they become miserable.
Mm.
And that doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
If you're going to look after old parents, look after them without resentment,
Yes.
knowing they did the best they could with what they had. They did.
Yes. And your perception growing up of them is probably different to what it is
Yes.
or was.
Yes, absolutely.
And now you can see them with
Yes.
different eyes and
Absolutely.
different way and start treating them from a different place.
Yes. And be
which is
grateful they
about
gave you
love.
life. Yes, be grateful we're here because of them.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, all the parents,
Yes, thank
moms
you.
and dads out there.
Yes, both of them.
Yeah. Well, Jean, has been wonderful as always, chatting. And we will meet up with you again for your next lesson.
Okay. Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Thanks,
watching,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.